Welcome back to Exceptional Undergrads, a podcast where we interview successful students and explore how they achieve success at a young age. Be sure to check out our show notes at exceptionalundergrads.com for all resources mentioned in this episode. Today, I welcome Mikey Russo to the show. Mikey is an undergrad at MyPoint University. He started 2 profitable LLCs, and he currently runs a landscaping business with over 120 clients remotely from school. He was also the top rookie door-to-door salesman nationwide this past summer, as well as owning a business called MyPoint, which is a small food delivery business for MyPoint University. Without further ado, guys, let's welcome Mikey Russo. Mikey Russo, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Would you like to tell us about a little bit of your recent accomplishments that you've had?
Yeah, totally. I did a door-to-door sales program. I figured once you can sell something door-to-door, you can do just about any. You can just sell just about anything. I have a landscaping business back in Boston, Massachusetts, where I'm from. We have 120 clients. We have over 15 dedicated, hardworking young employees there. But I figured, hey, if you're good at door-to-door sales, then I could sell my own company. I could sell things for other people's, whatever, or sell Ghost energy drinks, whatever it is. But they flew me down to Texas, or not Texas, to Arizona, and I was just talking with some industry leaders about strategies and certain things that they can improve with their business, and it was super cool. Like, I'm a 21-year-old, and there's some dude who owns a billion-dollar company is taking advice from a 21-year-old. It was pretty cool. I started a business here at MyPoint University called MyPoint. I have a little saying, guys, if you ever bring MyPoint to MyPoint. It's a food delivery service. Everyone's heard of Grubhub and DoorDash. It's just like Grubhub and DoorDash, just specifically for the MyPoint University campus. It's a little background of things I've done. I was the top rookie nationwide for the Brinks Home Security brand. I'll think of things I was but yeah.
Do you win a car from that?
Yeah, so the top rookie of the company wins they advertise it as a Tesla. But I ended up picking a Mercedes. I'm a big fan of. I've always wanted a Mercedes, so that's what I got. I'll give you a quick story too about the Mercedes. So my landscaping business. I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, and Dunkin' Donuts. It was a cool job in high school. We had fun. We messed around a little bit. Didn't mess around, but we messed around a lot. And what happened? I went back for my freshman year at MyPoint University. And this girl who worked there, who was in high school, was like, "You still work here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, why do I work at Dunkin' Donuts? I'm a college student. This is embarrassing." So I quit and told the general manager, her name was Jackie. I'm like, "Jackie, I'm going to own the place." And I left. And I did landscaping in the past for like friends and family. So I'm like, I know how to do landscaping. I'll just go see what I can do. Because I was embarrassed. Like, I need to do something better. I was like, this is embarrassing what I'm doing, working at Dunkin' Donuts. So long story short, I went home, went on my mom's computer, went on my computer, started typing up ads saying, "Hey, I'm a college kid doing landscaping. Let me know if you need anything done." My first ever client, this dude hit me up, and he's like, "I want an estimate." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll figure it out." I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it. And he sent me his address and his phone number. I looked up his address on Zillow. It was like a $4 million home. I'm like, wow, this dude has a $4 million home. I'm like 18 years old. I gotta figure this out. So I drove my friend's Mercedes, dressed up in it really nice, brought a clipboard, had no idea what I was talking about. But I went to his house and acted like I knew what I was talking about. And he was like, at the end of the job, I just shook my head and said, yes, we can do that. I was recording the conversation, so I remembered what to do because I didn't know what I was doing. He's like, "How much is it going to be?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to be like $4,500. And he's like, "Sweet, let's do it." And I got to the card, I was like, "Oh, let's go." So I went back that day. And I brought 3 of my friends, bought some tools in the morning at Home Depot, went on YouTube. I think social media and YouTube and TikTok, you got to use these resources very well because I learned how to do his whole yard over YouTube in one night. And I made $4,100 in one day. And I'm like, wow, like anything is possible. I just went from working at making coffees for $20 every 2 hours to making $4,100 in one day, mulching people's yards. Like, I think anything's possible. But that's my quick little story about landscaping and that kind of stuff.
It's inspiring. You mentioned Dunkin' Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start working at Dunkin' Donuts?
I couldn't tell you exactly off the top of my head when I started working at donuts, but I do actually. I was in middle school going into my freshman year in high school. Because all the older kids in high school, like the seniors and juniors, they all worked at Dunkin' Donuts. And it was like the cool place to work. So that's like my first job. That's when my parents were like, you need to get a job, and I'm like, oh, Dunkin' Donuts seems cool. All the older kids are working there. I'm gonna start working there.
Awesome. All right, let's hone it back in to how you were prior to coming to college and starting up some of these businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that you've changed since then and grown?
How do I think I've changed and grown since then? In high school, I was kind of a wild kid. Can I tell a story that I'll just tell the story. Why not? So in high school, actually, I've always had an entrepreneurship mindset. I've always like talking to people, and like I guess I didn't ever realize it, but I love sales. Like if I have a goal, I'm gonna go do it no matter what. No matter what anyone tells me, I'm gonna go do it. You've heard of like a candy sale, I'm guessing. Like high school football teams do candy sales, whatever. So we had a trip to Camp Squano in middle school, and it was the candy sale. And whoever sold the most candy won an iPad and won the trip for free. And you get to cut all the lines at Camp Squano. So I'm like, oh, I'm winning this. So I sold candy door-to-door sales and had the school record at middle school. It's still the record to this day, selling the most candy to strangers. My mom would call the police on me one night because I was out selling candy in like 13, 14-hour-old I was. But since then, I've grown a lot. I get off track. I started like selling things, I guess. I started selling e-cigarettes in high school. I mean, it doesn't sound good, and maybe don't put that part in there. But I started selling vapes in high school, and like I built like an empire out of it. Basically, it's very illegal and probably shouldn't be talking about it, but it's how I started. I was picking up like 500 of these disposable vapes. I didn't even do that, but I was selling them for like $25 each. I bought them for $5, and then I had people who were buying them for me at my school. I had runners that were going to school. I would never go into school with these because they're not allowed in school, obviously, in high school. So I'd have people that were doing it for me. And then I got so big to the point where I got caught, so I stopped doing it. But, I mean, the question was at first, how did I grow? I realized to stop being an idiot and stop doing things that I wanted to do the wrong way and start doing the things that I want to do the right way.
What was the turning point for switching that mentality?
Yeah.
From doing the wrong things to the right things? Because I've experienced that exact same thing. I think that's what a lot of our listeners are looking for.
I mean, it comes with being down on yourself and like going through it, if that makes sense. When I realized my mom thought I was an angel and she thought I was awesome, but I was selling bad things and I was doing bad things, having parties and all this awesome I thought was cool at the time. But the second that I experienced like disappointment and my mom was mad at me and she was telling everyone I was a drug dealer and like all these people would look at me funny because they realized like that I did that stuff. It was definitely a turning point because I'm like, wow, I need to have people proud of me that do the things I do. I can't have people embarrassed and look at me like I'm like a loser. I want to have people look at me like, wow, that kid's cool and that kid's awesome. And also a turning point, it sounds stupid. I was in Nantucket with my friends. We'd go because I live in Massachusetts. It's pretty close. I saw this dude. We were like working at Dunkin' Donuts at the time. I saw this dude walk off this huge yacht, and he just looked so cool. And everyone on our ferry was like looking at him, like pointing at the dude. I'm like, I want to be that dude. So I guess that little experience and my parents being like, hey, you need to like fix your stuff. Like this is bad. Like you need to figure your stuff out.
Being around the people at Dunkin' Donuts and having worked there for a while and through college, was that something, being in that environment, that really motivated you to find other ways to grow and push yourself?
Totally. I think it was a huge turning point as well, I guess, and motivated me to want to do better things because, to be honest with you, people that work at Dunkin' Donuts, like there's the group of high school kids that work at donuts, and there's the group of adults that work at Dunkin' Donuts. And this group of adults that you're around, they're waking up at 5 a.m. They're not driving nice cars. They're not doing nice things. They're all struggling in different ways, and that's why they're working at Dunkin' Donuts. And it's kind of sad seeing the way these people live. I love them. They're great people, but they just had a different path and a different they haven't figured it out like people like you and me have, I guess. So it was kind of eye-opening seeing like, oh my God, this girl's 35 years old and she's making the same amount of money as me. Like I never want to be like that. So yeah, it was definitely a turning point because I was realizing I never want to be like that person. I want to be like the guy driving the nice car in the drive-thru. I don't want to be the person coming to work in the bad car, working Dunkin' Donuts in the morning.
So you mentioned starting the mulching business,
Yeah.
which you still run today. That's up to an LLC now,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
You also have here as well that you co-founded Service Guru
Yeah.
and another company called Mass Marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about how you got into both of those things?
Yeah, totally. So, mass marketing and service guru were both a thing in high school. This kid named Bradley, I played club soccer. Bradley also played club soccer, and he always had a mindset like, I want to be rich, I want to make a lot of money, and he always doing different things and always had different ideas that I thought was really cool. So we both started this thing called Service Guru. It's not like off the ground or anything huge right now. It takes like a lot of money to get started, but we're still working on it today. Service Guru, it's like like you've heard of Amazon, right? Everyone's heard of Amazon, but it's so that you can buy products and you can buy services. So there wasn't any. Amazon's the business, the $1 billion company today, where you can buy products. There's no company where you can buy all services. So consumers buy products and services. So we're like, hey, let's make something that as big, hopefully one day as big as Amazon, where you can buy all different services. So we started getting like texts from like India and like people who start working on websites and stuff like that. But we came into a problem where we couldn't get every single service listed on Service Guru. It's almost impossible to get every single service. We're still trying today to figure out a better way to streamline that process. But that's what Service Guru is. It's like the Amazon for services, if that makes sense. And then you said mass marketing. It was also a thing with a kid named Bradley who played club soccer as well. It was like a marketing agency where we'd help small businesses gain traction and things like that. I gotta look at it. It's been a while, actually. 1 second. What is it? Oh, so it started off, we'd help people, like we'd call small businesses up and be like, hey, we'll help grow your business X amount of times. If everyone's heard of that stuff, more like we'll help grow your business doing ads. But back then it wasn't really a thing. It wasn't really super popular then. So we just call local businesses and say, hey, we'll run your social media pages. We'll run SEO and like stupid marketing campaigns to get your business where we see the potential of growing. Because a lot of the small business owners where I'm from, we did like a little statistic. They're over the age of 65 years old. And a lot of 65-year-olds don't know how to use phones and social media as well as we do. So we're like, hey, let's go charge people a monthly subscription to do that. So that's what we started doing. And then it transitioned into people who wanted to grow their Instagram followers, people who wanted to grow their social media presence. So then I started Jack. I don't know if you know Jack Summer. Jack Summer, I started making all his content on Instagram. So we do all the videos and we do the marketing side of things to help people grow their audience and grow their business through social media. Because like I said earlier, social media is a huge tool that can help a lot of people get more places. If you have 5 million followers on social media and it looks like you do all these super cool things, people are gonna actually take you a lot more seriously. And that's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's how it is. But anyone can do it. Like people like Grant Cardone, you see. I don't know if you know who that is. Mm-hmm. People like Grant Cardone do it. Jack Summer does it. And all these huge influencers that most people know today all use social media to their leverage. So that's where we come in and we help people leverage their social media to get to the next steps they want to get to.
How did you learn the skill of growing social media pages? I noticed as well through looking at your mass marketing one as well, specifically Jack Summer's one. Yeah. You grew him from whatever it was, like around 20-ish K followers up to 130 plus K as well. How'd you really learn these strategies to implement them not only in your own social media accounts, but to be able to monetize that for other people?
Yeah, I personally don't really do it for my personal account, to be honest with you. I'm just so busy with everything that I'm doing that I haven't had time to do it for myself. But if someone's paying me to do it, I will do it for them every single day. But for how do I learn those skills? It's through social media. I mean, there's so many tools and so many things you can learn by just watching someone's YouTube video. You can buy courses and all this stuff like this, but I think the best way to do it is learning on your own. I just basically just started making videos on CapCut, like a lot of people do these days. I started making people's videos on CapCut using templates, using popular sounds, using popular hashtags and things like that. So I just started making videos. And then I started realizing, hey, you should probably use these hashtags. You should probably use these tips in your videos. And you could also pay for these things as well off different platforms like Grant Cardone. He pays different people to like comment and things like that, and different social media influencers to repost his content so he gains followers. So through like a little bit, not getting to super specifics, but through a little of those tactics, you can grow anyone's audience in a matter of a month with those kind of things.
I've learned so far that you're very intentional with your actions here, and you're always looking to learn how to gain different skills. Have you always had this mindset?
I'd say yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you. I'd say everything, if I hear something cool and I hear something that I'm interested in, I'm going to go do it. Does that answer your question super well? Like, I've always been the type where, like, I'm always jumbling around. I talk about a million different things, a million different miles an hour. But if I see something cool, I'm going to go do it no matter what. And that's just always how I've been. I've been like, if I want to be on the podcast, or if I see someone making a lot of money selling Ghost energy drinks on TikTok, or if I see someone making money, it's not just money based, but if I see something that I feel like I can influence people and help people, and I think it's cool, then I'm just going to go do it.
What tips would you have for people who have great ideas and want to start businesses, but they can't get over that fear of failure at the start that you seem to be able to blow right past? Do you have any sort of tangible tips that you'd say to them that they can use to really get over that fear of failure?
Yeah, totally. A lot of people talk about things and they say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it this way, and this is the time frame I'm going to do it. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't take massive action daily. And at the end of the day, you're either going to win or you'll learn. I have a mindset where you don't lose. If you lose, you learn in my book. Because if you're thinking you're going to lose at everything, then you're going to lose at everything. But if you think they're going to learn from things that you don't do well in, then you're going to learn from it. So I'd say to get over the mindset of failure, you just got to do it. You don't listen to other people. A lot of people will tell you you can't listen to other people. But for me personally, if someone tells me don't do it, it makes me want to do it more, to be honest with you. And my parents, when they said, hey, you own this landscaping business in Boston that does so well, they're like, why the heck would you go do door-to-door sales? Like, you're an idiot. My grandparents flew down to try to convince me, hey, don't do this. Like, why would you go do door-to-door sales? And I'm like, you know what? I want to do it more that you said that. I'm going to be the best damn door-to-door salesman ever. And that's exactly what I did. You just got to do it. And if it's something you're interested in, just go for it. Because there's no one stopping you, and there's no one doing anything crazy. You just got to go for it, I feel like. I mean, the reason why most people are successful is because they just do it. Like, the reason why this podcast is going to blow up because you're doing it. And if you probably know people that say, hey, that podcast is cool. I've been looking to do something for it, but they're not going to do well if they don't try to do it. The only thing to make something better is to try it. If you don't try it, you're never gonna do it.
I think that speaks volumes, just going after it, going after things and just doing it. Because I found myself a while ago in a spot where I have a bunch of ideas. I have files upon files in my Google Drive of random business ideas that I have. And actually, including one of the ones, your idea, MyPoint, I had that idea freshman year, and I just didn't take any action on it. Because at that time, I was not the type of person who I am now, and I was kind of super shy and didn't really know what I was doing, and wasn't the type of person who just goes and does things. And I noticed that I was like, he beat me to it. It's good. This is why you take action.
So many people have said that to me. Some people go, I've had that idea. And actually, it wasn't even my idea. I'll be totally honest with you. It was not my idea. Someone brought it up to me, and we were sat in a room and talked about it and stuff. And I told them, I'm like, hey, if you don't do it, I'm gonna do it. And they ended up not doing it, so I just did it.
I think that speaks volumes. Just going and doing stuff. I think that's how I've found out that I could be a lot more productive. Is just to cut out a bunch of things that I don't feel are valuable, and then just do the highest leverage activity for a particular task. So for me, working on this podcast, it'd be preparing for an interview that I have with you, or building out the rest of the stuff behind it. Whatever I feel is the most the highest leverage thing that I could basically do to move things forward, that's what I'll go ahead and do. How do you stay productive and balance school and doing well in school, as well as managing this mulching business that you have back in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would say really helps you from a day-to-day basis, or any habits that you have in place that help you balance this?
Yeah, I'd say having a schedule. I think having a schedule is huge. Like my schedule during the day is always mixed with taking calls from people, setting up meetings or whatever it is, talking to people about opportunities or how I can help them or how they can help me. I think having a set part of your day, the same every single day, that helps you get to that mentally good spot where you're like, hey, I'm going to go kill the day, is totally something that could help everyone. I wake up at 6 every morning and go for a run, and it gives me like mental. No one's up then at High Point. No, I've never seen any. Well, the lacrosse teams are always up. Actually, they're always going. But it puts me in a great headspace. I get up, I run, and then I hop in my ice bath, and that time to myself where I can think, hey, I'm gonna go do this today, is super crucial to the way I am today. Because it gives me a good spot where I can start my day and do something productive. I'm sure everyone's heard, not everyone, but a lot of people have watched this video. It's maybe like a Navy SEAL or a Marine. He talks about making your bed in the morning, and you start your day, no matter how bad your day is, if you make your bed in the morning, at night, you go home to a made bed. So at least he did one thing good that's going to help you. So I think it's huge starting the day off right and positive, because if you started off positive, if you started off doing one good thing, it could only go up from there.
It's compounding those small wins. I also get up early, and I feel like something that I've actually noticed through people who I've already interviewed as well, is most people who are exceptional undergrads have some sort of spot in their schedule that doesn't change, like you mentioned, for them to either focus on something like doing work to progress forward a business or to make sure that they're improving themselves. They always cut out some sort of spot, either in the mornings or at night time, to where they have that for themselves. I think that's a very interesting thing that I've actually implemented in my routines as well, where in the mornings it switches up every now and then depending on what I want to do, but I will usually be up anywhere between like 4:45 to 5-ish, and then go and lift or work until I have classes and whatnot. I try to keep a lot of the things that I have very simple, because I think whenever you limit the amount of inputs that you have, your outputs increase.
I agree. I think that's totally fair. Two things I'll touch on. First thing is I started a private store. It's called Once a Day. I didn't talk about it too much, but I do something hard once a day, and it's usually the ice bath in the morning. And I started a private story on Snapchat. It's just started on Snapchat, but started on Snapchat where it kind of motivates people to go do something hard once a day. And once they see me yelling at the camera, hey, once a day, let's go, get it done, people want to go after and get it done. And now that I've started that private story, it's been like a month, people have got ice baths. They send me videos of them either running in the morning or hopping in the ice bath. And it's kind of inspiring that, hey, like these people are getting after it and they're getting it done once a day like I am. And I love to inspire people that way. But earlier you said, I'll touch on this real quick. Earlier you said that what was like a turning point as well. No one just started off being like super cool and awesome and being an exceptional undergrad. Like in high school, I like beginning of high school, I'd say, I was getting picked on. I weighed 100 pounds, and I just was kind of like in a bad place mentally. And then one thing that I found that helped me so much was going to the gym. Going to the gym and just like you only control yourself at the end of the day. You can't control what other people think, can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do. And going to the gym, I've been going to the gym every single day since high school. That's one thing was a turning point for me where, hey, I can go control the way I look at the gym. Like if you look cool, maybe you are cool. That's what I started doing, and I think it's worked ever since.
How have you maintained the discipline to be able to do hard things, such as go to the gym every single day for long periods of time?
Because I enjoy it. I enjoy that the part that I control the way I look. The harder I work in the gym, the better I'll look. Because I came from weighing 100 pounds I was like this big, and all my friends are bigger than me, and now I'm not bodybuilder or anything crazy like that, but I say I look a lot different than I used to. and that like kind of drives me to do it every single day. And I actually started enjoying going to the gym and enjoying listening to music or listening to a podcast, and having that time to like I have that time in the morning, but I also try to go to the gym at like 9 or 10 or like 9 or 10 in the morning too, depending on my schedule. And I just enjoy it. That's why I have the discipline. I like doing it, to be honest with you. It sounds kind of crazy. I just like it.
No, I've noticed that as well. Once you start doing things that are hard for yourself, eventually you end up really liking these activities, especially once they become habits, because there's this concept of instant versus delayed gratification. Have you heard of a bunch of the stuff? Awesome. Well, for some of the listeners who might not know, instant gratification is basically whenever you do some sort of like pleasurable activity, and then usually after it kind of isn't as good for you. It's something that's like easy to do right now, but then doesn't really give you that much of a payoff in the future. And then delayed gratification is the opposite of that, which is doing something that's hard right now, especially hard to do, like going to the gym or sitting down and meditating or taking a cold shower or ice bath. But then eventually afterwards, you know it's like the better thing for you to have done, so that you become like more pumped up and so much more excited afterwards, because you just accomplished something that's harder. And it's more rewarding afterwards rather than taking the easier route and immediately going to pleasure. And I've noticed that, I actually wrote a blog on this as well, that basically with instant delayed gratification, either way you're paying a somewhat like hard tax essentially, but with delayed gratification, you get to choose the hard tax for yourself, because you are the one who's putting your effort into something to make yourself better and forcing yourself to do that, which ends up helping you more rather than just taking the easy way out and taking some sort of pleasurable activity.
I agree. I think it's like delayed gratification. I think everyone should try to do something in their life that it's not just an immediate result. If say you guys go to the gym for 2 weeks and say, hey, I'm gonna hit biceps every single day for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, your biceps will look better, no matter what. Maybe if you're eating like crap, then no. But if you just set a goal and you realize, hey, like this is so much more beneficial, and look at how much better I look in 2 weeks than just doing it for a day out of the week. Like it's like delayed gratification. It's so much more rewarding for me to do that stuff and have the reward later than get $1 today and then get $100 in like 2 weeks, whatever it is.
Delayed gratification is more of investing in yourself to make the payoff in the future be better. I think that's a big thing for not only discipline to continue to do the stuff, but just being able to see your compounding progress. Because as we were saying beforehand about routines and whatnot, and really winning your morning and setting you up for a good rest of the day, having that time in the morning that you dedicate to doing something harder or focusing on the highest task at hand. That's actually the principle of, it's a concept, I think it was Brian Tracy in his book, Eat the Frog. Have you heard of this book?
I haven't, no.
Eat the Frog, basically that saying is to front load or do the hardest task that you can, the most important one, at the start of your day, to basically get that task over with and have like a huge win. The way that they're talking about this is saying eat the frog. It's like what time of day would be the best time for you to eat a frog? Would it be to eat it like immediately and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the day, or be waiting the entire time and have all this anticipation of like hyping up, when am I going to eat it or whatnot? The frog is just a metaphor for whatever the thing is like hard task. So it's eating the frog would be front loading the different tasks that you have so that you can immediately get the stuff done. I think that's something that I noticed that you say as well for doing an ice bath or having this time to immediately go on a run. It's immediately pushing yourself into something that's uncomfortable to make sure, all right, I've got to win, and now the rest of the day is going to be easier because I've already ate the frog. I've already done what I need to do, and it makes everything else easy.
And I talked to some guy at the treadmill today at the gym today. He was in the CIA, and I was telling him about my once a day thing. Like, hey, get something hard, get it done like in the beginning of the day. And what he was saying, he's like, yeah, the more you make your life hard now, the easier your life will be later. And that's just like what you said, eating the frog. But yeah, he's like, he's 45 years old. He's in the CIA, trains What's it called? He trains Team 1 guys, like some of the best military guys around. And he's like, they do these things and I do these things, and guess where we are now? And I'm like, well, if you're there now and you're doing that, then sign me up. I'm doing it too. But yeah, I think that it's huge. You got to eat the frog in the morning.
It's like an odd saying, but
Yeah.
it almost like it sticks into your brain. It's stuck in my brain because it's such a weird
I like that. Yeah.
sort of thing. And then I just remember that, especially whenever I have to get up and like,
Yeah.
and I really have to go to the gym. Like I had cardio and abs today. I'm like, I
Yeah.
really have to go and
Yeah.
hit cardio. I can't even lift weights. Like I have to go and do
Yeah,
cardio. And I'm
that's
like,
brutal.
eat the frog, bro. Come on, just
Yeah,
move forward.
eat
You
the
got
frog.
it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Keep that one in your mind there.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Right. Did door-to-door sales.
Mm-hmm.
A heavy amount of communication with people.
It's huge.
You have some communication tips that you'd like to share with people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do some communication tips first. Just being able to talk to people, like you just said, random guy at the treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
You had a whole conversation with him. Communication tips, just social skills for people. And then any sort of sales tips that you want to add on.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you want to, you can merge the two.
Yeah,
I want to hear what you've got.
Yeah, I think communication in sales is the biggest thing you can have. I don't really focus on selling whatever I am selling. Like I don't care what I'm selling. It's all people buy the story. They don't buy the product. So if you tell someone, we'll say for these drinks, to start with, hey, like I started my life not doing super well, and then I started drinking these drinks, and they made my life so much better. If I sit, they're gonna like that story better than, hey, this drink has 400 calories, 20 grams of protein, and it's been around for 5 years. People are gonna be like, cool. Like they're not. If I tell the story that, hey, it changed my life in this way, they're more likely to buy it than saying all the facts about it. If that makes sense. I've always been a communicator. I feel like if you can go up to anyone and talk to them, then you're good to go. My friends are like, why are you talking to that person? Like, shut up. Like, you have to talk to everyone. And I think that if you don't talk to someone, there's always a missed opportunity. You would never know that the guy sitting next to you on a plane owns $1 billion company if you didn't talk to him. So I think you need to talk to as many people as you can, because a lot of people have been around for a lot longer than you. And a lot of people do a lot cooler things than you'd ever think of, and you would never know if you don't talk to them. In door-to-door sales, that's why I embarked on that journey, I guess, because I'm like, hey, if I can go talk to anyone, then I can do just about anything. And where we were selling home security was low-income, high-crime neighborhoods, so it wasn't the greatest area. Like, you were next to some scary people, and you were in some scary places. But we were in neighborhoods for like 3 days at a time. The first day, this is how it worked. People were like, I'm the only white kid in the neighborhood, and people are like, what is this kid doing? He has a polo on, and like I'm in not great neighborhoods at all. Like people with Section 8 homes, whatever it's called, I don't remember. Section 8 homes, super people living off food stamps and that stuff, and I'm out there in a polo, and I'm the only white kid around. And they're like, what's this white kid doing in our neighborhood? So the first day I'd start waving at everyone down the street. They had no idea who I was. I'm like, hey, what's up? Like acting just super friendly. The second day I started signing people up with my security system, setting people up. And it was a really good deal. And we were helping people out in the neighborhoods. And by the third day, people were waving at me at the neighborhoods. They're like, yo, Mikey, what up? I'm like, what up, guys? So it's super cool. Like just by me waving at these people the first day, the third day made my life so much easier because people are waving at me now. So I think if you can talk to anyone, you'll be set no matter what. Because let's say for a lot of viewers out here, a lot of people are going to get a job after college, and you're going to be interviewed just like we're doing this interview right now. If you sit there and you read off your resume and say, I was a sales specialist, I was a co-founder, I did MyPoint, they're going to be like, cool. But if I sit here and I shut this thing off and I say, hey, Jack, how you doing today? You're doing good? Me too, yeah. So I'm Mikey Russo, and just have a normal conversation with them. I'm not, like I said, I'm not selling the product. I'm selling myself. And I think a lot of people need to focus more on selling yourself before just running. No one cares about the details at the end of the day. They care about who you are and if they can see vision and value in you. And if you can convey that to anyone, I think that's massive.
Got a couple of points. Your response reminded me of a couple of very good resources that I've been looking at.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked into this book at all?
No, but I watched a TikTok by Simon Sinek, if that's how you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a TED Talk on why. I think it's just called Why. But want me to get into that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For it.
why? I think that was one of the biggest things is your why. I'm in sales. When you're knocking doors every single day, you need to have a why. And I actually wrote down my why, and my why was, I want to prove people wrong. Everyone said that you're not going to make any money in door-to-door sales. You're not going to get this, or it's a pyramid scheme. And my why I was I want to prove people wrong. I want to prove my grandparents wrong. I want to show them what I can do. So I wrote that on a piece of paper and I put it in my back pocket every single day. Actually, when I was knocking doors in Georgia in these terrible neighborhoods, or not terrible, but like not the greatest neighborhoods. And every time my day would get tough, I'd sit on the curb. It was super hot, and bugs would be all over me, and I'd pull up my why, and I'd read, why am I doing this? And I'd read it to myself, and I'm like, that's why I'm doing it. And if you don't have a why, you shouldn't be doing it. But if you have I think everyone, whatever you're doing in your life, you should always have a why and understand why you're doing it, because it's a lot more powerful than you think. Well, yeah, Simon Sinek, I watched that TED Talk. It was I watched it like twice. I never would sit there for like 20 minutes to do something, but I've sat there like this. I think everyone should watch that. If you're not a big book person, definitely check out Simon Sinek's Why TED Talk. It's super inspirational.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I actually bring that up because in there he talks about what he calls the golden circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically where you work inside out. And you start with the why, then the how, and then the what.
Mm-hmm.
Like how we were saying beforehand, you could list off the what of exactly is in this energy drink or whatever the product is that you're trying to sell to people. But it won't really resonate with people because if you just tell them like, yeah, it's got apple juice in it, it's got orange juice, or like whatever, I don't know, just any sort of that stuff, it doesn't really resonate with people because there's no why behind it. There's no real thing that they can get behind and be like, I really like this because of this reason. Not just because they like whatever's in it. Because most people don't know what half the stuff is. If you tell them different detail, if you leave out the details. But what Simon Sinek says is like, why is the core purpose that you have, like the reason why you get out of your bed in the morning. And I really loved the way that you put your why with you and had it with you all the time. It's actually something as well that in the book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, also fantastic book. He talks about always having your why, or like the reason on you. A tactic that he said it's called the business card tactic, where you either write down stuff like you did, or you actually order a business card of like your future credentials that you have.
That's sick.
So like not to hand out to anybody, but just to have on you,
sweet.
where you have like in your pocket, and anytime you want to, you can look at it and be like, Jack Slowick, like whatever it is, like a million followers of this podcast or something, or like something
That's
like
sick,
that, where you can look at that and you'd be like, this is what I'm working for. Like this is actually the reason why that I have stuff. And you just look at that and you're like, okay. And then you go and do the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. The second thing that I also remembered from here is actually from my newest favorite book. It's called The 10 Pillars of Wealth, Mindsets of the World's Richest People by Alex Becker. Pretty sure he just recently sold his software company for over $100 million. This book was written back in like a little while ago. The 9th pillar is people give money to people that get people. He says that in order for someone to be rich, other people need to exist to give you the power of being rich. And you have to be able to communicate with these people and give them essentially value without just randomly, giving them something that like, doesn't make any sense. You have to be able to get people to get them to buy stuff. I think that communication aspect that you're talking about.
Yeah, this little quick story. I totally agree with you, Jack. I talked about in the beginning of the podcast. I said how this dude flew me out to Arizona. It was like Tempe, Arizona, cool area. Above that, I might live there one day. It's really cool. But he flew me out at the CEO of EcoShield. It's called. And he started the business, privately owned $1 billion business that he started with a couple of his friends. And I went out there because they wanted me to work. I did so well in my door-to-door sales company. They wanted me to go work for them. So I went out there. they flew me out to try to get me to work for them. All the guys at EcoShield, they are super, super cool, like super cool dudes. But they brought me to the CEO's house. What was I going to say? I got right in the house and I just said, hey, my name is Michael Russo, and started just talking about myself. I don't care who you are or what you do. And I sat in this dude's hand-carved office. It was all hand-carved wood everywhere, and had like basically like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of conversation with this dude, I'd say. We talked money, we talked business, and I gave him tips about our industry that he could implement in his privately owned company. And it was super, super inspiring and cool that you just don't like. I don't remember what you said about the ninth pillar, but I was going to say something about that. But what was the ninth pillar?
It is people give money to people that get people.
Exactly. So he didn't know me at all. I just walked into his house with the partners of this company, and he gave us an opportunity and money because we could get people and because I could connect with him on a personal level. I wasn't there to go, hey, give me X and Y, Z. I went and had a genuine conversation with this dude. And that's why he was willing to invest into us. And cool thing, had a sauna and an ice bath in his house. It was super cool. And I'm like, wow, if I'm doing an ice bath, if this dude does an ice bath, that's super cool. But yeah.
Wonder how crazy it'd be to go from the sauna straight to the ice bath.
I have a sauna at my Centennial, actually.
You do?
Yeah, I have one. It's the one you sit in. It's actually amazing. I've done it a bunch of times. It is pretty wild. A bunch of people... Like he goes back and forth. Like it's ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous.
It's kind of fun. I kind of like it. Like a lot of people like rip vapes and like get high off things. Like my high is like dunking my head in the ice bath. I'm like, I feel amazing afterwards.
Getting out of a cold shower.
Yeah, I get an ice bath. Everyone should try it. If you ever have ice and you're in a bath or a tub, throw ice in there and get in, dunk your head and be like, when you get out, you'll feel amazing. But yeah.
Then let yourself cool off
Mm-hmm.
Like don't go into like a hot shower or anything.
Yeah.
Just get it straight, and that's when it's
exactly.
good.
That's when you're like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Awesome. All right. I want to hear, to round it out a little bit here, what advice would you give to some other undergrads who are trying to pursue things that you've done and really just getting started out?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them as they start their journey to become exceptional?
Yeah. I'd say you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. And if you really want to be the sixth, you got to be that fifth, like I was saying. Like, if you want to do super well and want to do exceptional, I wouldn't say I'm like nothing crazy. I just do what I like to do. But you just got to hang around these people. And if someone's doing something you want to do, go copy exactly what they're doing. Go up to them and ask them questions, because I bet you they're willing to help you. And go surround yourself with these people that you want to be like, because chances are if you hang around those people, you will start doing exactly what they do. This dude that I worked with, his name is Jameson Heward. He's 22. He does door-to-door sales, and that's why I continue to do it, because I'm hanging around these 6 guys who, like, Jameson is a millionaire. He's 22 years old. I hang around these guys who have millions of dollars, and hopefully soon I'll be the next one. But this dude, he's 22 years old. It has 26 rental properties, and it's so cool. I just hang around him, ask him questions, and he wasn't my friend at first. He didn't even know me. He was like, oh, another sales dude, like whatever, Michael Russo. But I started hanging around him more, and now I'm in a spot, hopefully in the future, where I'm going to be like him when I'm 22, which is super cool. Oh wait, what tips do I have for undergrads? Hang around people that you want to be like. A, I'd say B, do something, push yourself every single day, because chances are it will make you better. The third thing I'd say is just take massive action daily. You just gotta go do it. Don't think about obviously think about the consequences, but just go do it and see how it works. Because like I said earlier, you either win or you learn. And the worst thing that could happen, hey, you learn. And real quick too, you mentioned resources earlier. One thing that I think is like a book. You said that book you were talking about. One book I think everyone should read is The 48 Laws of Power. It's literally banned in prisons. Like, if you are in prison, you cannot read this book because it is so powerful. It sounds stupid, but they banned this book in prison for a reason. And every single law in that book is something that you should maybe like think about. I always remember one of them is never outshine the master. Um, that one has always stuck with me. I don't know why. But if someone's doing one thing I learned is if someone's doing something better than you, if you're in a job, let's say, and your manager is doing super, super well to impress the CEO, never. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about actually, but I think everyone should read the 48 Laws of Power. Good book.
I think what you're getting at is what I'm looking into right now.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book called Ego is the Enemy
Yeah.
by Ryan Holiday.
Uh-huh.
It's been fantastic so far, but it basically breaks down how ego works against us in each of the different stages of like coming up, being successful, and then like failing because of it. I'm only like halfway through right now. But part of what you're saying had to do with, I actually want to look this up so I get it like exactly right. But he mentions a thing called the canvas strategy, which basically is, let's see if I can get it exactly for you. He says, in other words, discover opportunities to promote their creativity, talking about like other people who are ahead of you, and find outlets for people for collaboration, eliminating distractions that hinder their progress and focus. He says essentially that what we should do is if we can help other people progress in their lives, that opens up, say it's like a job. If you're helping the guy who's above you to get to their next level, then it opens up the way for you to move up. And I think that's a very interesting thing. So it says like the strategy of this is like it's a lot harder said than done because everybody wants to be like pushing forward and trying climbing uphill by themselves and like not worrying about anybody else. But whenever you build up other people and drop your ego, then you're able to accelerate not only your goals in your life, but then also other people's. I found that very interesting coming through here. But I think that's part of connects at least a little bit to what you were talking about.
Yeah, I agree. I say I kind of struggle with that a little bit. I kind of think like, hey, like I want to do this. I think one thing about everyone that they should know is you should know your weaknesses. Because, I mean, if you know your weaknesses, it can only get better if you're like, hey, like, maybe sometimes I'm a little bit of a dick or whatever, or maybe it's a type of language. Maybe sometimes I have a little too much ego. Once you realize those things and once you, like, say, like, think about it, hey, like self-reflection is huge, I think, too. Say, hey, like, maybe I struggle in this. What can I do to make it better? Instead of saying, yeah, like, whatever, like, yeah, I don't know. Once you know your weaknesses, you can only make them better. So I think what everyone should do is think about, hey, what am I bad at, and just try to get better at that. And don't like I was bad when I first started when I was in high school and a freshman and sophomore. I weighed 100 pounds. I'm like, hey, like I'm 100 pounds, and all these kids are way bigger than me. It's like a weakness in my mind. I was getting picked on and like punched and like hitting lockers, whatever. I'm like, hey, I gotta fix that about myself. So yeah, one thing is always that.
Reflecting and then consciously making a choice to be better at whatever this weakness is.
Yeah, I agree. You said it, but better.
Awesome. Well, Mikey, thank you so much for coming on here. I really appreciated our time. I think we got a bunch of different good insights. Do you have anything else that you would like to finish us out on?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty good. I think I don't have anything else. I don't know.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me. Let's go.
I hope you enjoyed another episode of Exceptional Undergrads. If you found inspiration in today's episode, head on over to our website, exceptionalundergrads.com, for our show notes and resources from all the episodes. We're always looking for new undergrads to feature in episodes. If you'd like to be featured, go visit our Apply Here page on the website and fill out an application showcasing your talents. And as always, stay exceptional.